Welcome back to Mik'd Up. As we led the show off, obviously LSU is going to Omaha. They have swept through the postseason so far, swept through the regional, swept through the super regional. As we do every week, Coach Jay Johnson graces us with his presence. We are honored and we are excited to always have him on the show. It is Jay Johnson Monday. I believe that he should be excited. We are very excited to talk to him. Coach, I appreciate – whoa. Jeez.
Sorry about that,
Coach,
boys.
I appreciate you coming on the show. Congratulations on your first Super Regional at the box, your first Super Regional win at the box. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, that lived up to the hype. Our fans delivered in a big time way. That is a home field advantage if I've ever seen one.
Coach,
and really –
I've been here a long time. Can you hear me? Sorry.
I can hear you.
All right. I've been an LSU fan my whole life. I watched them growing up at the old box. I got to play here. This weekend may have been the best I've seen Alex Box Stadium and maybe ever. I mean, this is something you didn't get to experience the Super Regional at home last year, or the Regional at home last year. You got to experience this year. Did it live up to the hype? Did it live up to the expectations, or did it surpass it?
You know, I think it surpassed it in two ways. I think the two moments that you really felt it were before game one, after the long day, and starting at 9:06 p.m. when our team took the field. Like, I got some chills going up my spine. I was like, man, I hope Paul can just keep it together in this first inning and not try to overdo it. And then, when Dylan doubled last night in the ninth inning, that was like, okay, this is happening, and these people know it's happening, and pretty awesome. And big time, like I said, big time shout out to the fans. They were unbelievable this postseason.
Knowing how dialed in and all the things that are going on during the game, and you're speaking about the atmosphere right now, but like you said, after a long day, a lot of weather delay on Saturday night, the mid-game interview, you're able to speak about and kind of plug the recruiting bit of it a bit. Is that something that just kind of came over you right then and there because of how ridiculous it is here? Or, how did that go?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I was just, being me and, doing what I do. And talking. I've so many people have asked me about that, and I was just like, I'm not a rocket scientist, but just, look around. We're hitting homers. We got a dude throwing 102. I mean, Will Helmers is the best hype man ever in the dugout. Fans are going crazy. They're booing the umpire. Standing ovation for our guys making hustle plays. Come on, it's not that hard. Purple's a good color. Let's go. Let's get it moving.
So the game was scheduled for 2:00. Obviously on Saturday, you had some rain, potentially rain. Ended up not raining. It's Louisiana weather. It happens. To me, it was a blessing in disguise because I think that Paul Skeens in his last home start at LSU deserved a night game. And so I'm glad that it was able to get this regional, super regional feel at night under the lights for him. And boy, did he deliver. I mean, he was sitting 100 to 103 for 3 straight innings. And I know we talk about him a lot, and I know you kind of run out of things to say about him. But just speak on how important he has been to you, the team, his leadership, him coming in here and just embracing the atmosphere and embracing the tradition of LSU.
Yeah, we could talk all night, and the best part is he's not done.
Right.
We hopefully got him for 2 or 3 more times, and super special guy. I mean, the talent is ridiculous. I mean, he's a front of line #1 starter in the major leagues, future Cy Young winner, future All-Star, and what he's delivered from a production standpoint, you can't even quantify that. But then you just make the character, the leadership, the team first attitude, and the impact, or the positive impact he's made on everybody in the locker room. It's it doesn't even feel like a real human being. It's so big, because they're not out there like Paul. And what a performance! I mean, I'll stand by and I'll say Saturday night's game was his best game of the year. Yeah. And you think about the situation, the magnitude, and how good he's been, that tells you everything.
Coach, you talked about the locker room and his impression on the locker room and what he's meant to the team in that aspect. I want to talk a little about some other guys who I feel like coming into the year it felt like that was going to be their role. They're going to be the locker room guys. They're going to be off the bench. They're going to be the guys who have had the experience, and they're veteran guys. They love LSU, and then all of a sudden they get thrusted into these roles, and they come up huge throughout the course of the weekend. Obviously, if I told you, hey, Kay Beloso is going to be in the lineup every day hitting 330 with 14 pumps, you'd be like, yeah, I'll take that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Hayden Travinci is going to be hitting 400 with 10 home runs. You're going to have these guys coming up in situations and making these enormous plays. Can you speak to how important that has been, not only to the team, but to those guys as people, and credit to them for sticking it out?
Yeah, I actually would tell you, like, I'm probably the least surprised by it. And I know that may sound maybe a little front runnerish, now that they're doing well. But, when Cade got hurt last year, right before the first game, like, that really hurt our team last year. I mean, he was in the lineup batting fifth opening night, and then he got hurt and was out for the season. Well, he was batting fifth, last night and for the past 25, 30 games. And he just takes such a good at bat. You can see it coming. The work has all really paid off for him. And then with Hayden, the talent has never been the question. And he just has struggled with injuries too the whole time that we've been here. And he just kind of the same thing. He put the team first. He took the role that he had, embraced it. And then he just kept working. And I know it may sound strange, but his fourth year here, his second with us, you could kind of see he was improving while he was waiting to get his opportunity. And he's a super confident guy. And once he got in there, I mean, that really changed us as a team. So I'm not surprised at all. But those two guys have shown the way for everybody of how to handle things professionally and put the team first, place the needs of the team above your own, be mature, keep working, be prepared when your opportunity comes, and then go execute. I mean, they're the model for that.
Coach, now I mean no pun by when I say this, but as the season rounds into shape, can you speak a little bit about a guy that you were able to bring with you from Arizona who over the last 2 weeks, if you ask me, has been as big as you could possibly be, and it is so obvious your level of trust that you have in him and the two situations that you give the ball to him. Can you talk a little bit about Riley Cooper and how well he's been and what he's meant to the team and what he's doing for you right now?
Absolute winner, period. I mean, that's all that really needs to be said. Does not get enough credit. I don't think you could get past one hand and count across the entire country pitchers that have multiple super regional wins under their belt, in terms of pitching decisions. He now has two. He's going to Omaha for the second time. We wouldn't be going there without him. Last Monday, third game of the regional, it wasn't really a hard decision of who we were going to go with in that game. I felt really good about the way he threw the ball in Hoover. I thought he matched up well with Oregon State, got us off to a great start, let our offense do its thing. And then last night, I mean, to hold the game at 5-3 for 3 innings and gave us everything that he had. And I'll say this, I think last night is the best I've ever seen him just execute pitches. And Kentucky scored some runs on us in the series here in April. They were not seeing him. They were not getting good swings. I mean, he was up in the zone with the fastball, spinning the breaking ball. Changeup was elite. Bent a couple times with a hit here, a walk there, but then the next guy was out. And then gave us exactly what we needed. I want to say he got 9 outs for us in 3 innings. And just trust him. I mean, he's a winner, and I trust him.
Because he comes in after Ty. Ty's been your number 2 guy all year. He's been really good all year. He battled his way through those 3 innings, right? He had some trouble in the first. He ended up limiting the damage and getting out of that inning. Gave up a couple solo homers. That's just, he's a fly ball pitcher. Some guys ran into some balls and they got out. That just happens. I feel like in Omaha, the field's a little bit bigger. The ball doesn't carry as much. Maybe those balls don't really carry out. But he battled through it, right? A sign of a championship team is picking up the other guy. And Riley Cooper did that to him. I feel like you're going to be he's going to be confident. And next time he goes out, and you're going to be confident in him. Talk about the way he was able to battle, keep the game in a position where you all still have the lead and able for Riley Cooper to be able to take you into Gavin Guidry and get the win.
Yeah, I'm so proud of all those guys. Starting with Ty, I said this last night in the post game. Somebody was asking me about Ty, and they were just like, "What do you think? What's the deal?" It's like, well, he's had a great season. Yeah. Just nobody talks about it because Paul's been on another planet, right. And you kind of lose sight of that. But let's go backwards. I mean, he did his job as a starting pitcher. He gave us a chance to win last night. He had 1 run in 3 innings before we got the lightning delay against Oregon State. Got us off to a good start, okay? SEC tournament, he pitched great against Texas A&M. If it wasn't the situation where it wasn't the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament wasn't around the corner, I never would have taken him out of that game. Right. And we probably would have won, to be honest with you. Right. And then you go backwards. He had a phenomenal outing at Georgia. He had a great outing against Mississippi State. And then the week before against Auburn, he had the little hiccup in that game. But, I mean, he struck out 7 or 8 guys in a row. Right. So it's about as solid as you get. And it's been a big offensive year in college baseball. I take my chances with him all day, every day. And it's a big reason I felt like we would be able to close it out last night. So he got us off to a great start. As I said, Riley came in and did awesome. And Guidry was an assassin, which was beautiful.
Hey, I'm gonna strike them all out.
As he is,
I'm gonna strike them all out.
I was kind of surprised that you brought him in when you did, and with that being the case, obviously Thatcher was in the pen and threw a lot in the pen. How close were you to actually bringing him in last night?
Thatcher?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the longer we could hold with Gavin, the better it was going to make our decision because you have to account for everything. And to get to Omaha, you have to win 2 out of 3. So it's a 2-run lead at home. The fans are going bonkers. If it's 1st and goal in the 5-yard line, we're going for this thing. But with that being said, I'm the one person in the park that has to have a little bit of self-control of okay, what if something goes sideways? We have to be set up for tomorrow. So to still have Thatcher, Nate Ackenhausen, Javen Coleman, and I'm even forgetting somebody else right now, but I felt like we were set. Then it was okay, let's see how the top of the 9th goes. And it was an awesome top of the 9th, scoring 3 runs right there. So it afforded us the ability to send Gavin back out, and they weren't seeing him or getting good swings on him. And sometimes that supersedes any thought matchup thing. It's what's happening right now? This dude is locked in, and they are not getting swings off of him. So it was a good decision itself to just let him roll anyways. But if we got into a situation where it was dicey, we would have gone to Nate Ackenhausen or Thatcher to finish it last night if we needed to. But because we scored those 3 runs, it's okay, now let's do this the right way and just make sure we're covered for the next day if we needed to be.
So you come on here and you talked about, Mingione, you and him are tight, y'all are good friends. Was there some gamesmanship going on his side after some of those reviews, and then all the conversations with the umpires after the reviews, and you came out and you said, what the heck is going on? Get out of here. Why is he stalling this game on? I know we're boys, but let's go. Yeah. Let's figure this thing out.
Yeah, I mean, first off, he did a phenomenal job with that team this year. I mean, I don't even know who won SEC Coach of the Year, but I don't think anybody did a better job of coaching their team. I mean, them to be in a super regional and execute all of those types of things was awesome for him. But there's a specific rule after a delay. You can't go back out and talk and argue. It's wait a minute, the review went in their favor. What? Right. So I just went out there guns blazing. I'm hey, man, you can't do that. I know exactly what he was doing. We got a guy just carving him up out there, and he's trying to break his rhythm. And we've seen that before this year. I was let's get this game started, man. I don't want to play on Monday. I want to get this thing over with and celebrate tonight and get ready for Omaha.
He tried his hardest. I know he's trying everything he can do to win, but that may have been the most pitching changes in one inning that I've ever seen in my entire life, and it was always mid-count. I thought he was going to bring in the righty in for Dylan before the start of the at-bat, and he left the lefty in, gets pass ball, run score, 2-1 count, bring the righty in, then the double, obviously. But I felt like it was a little bit of gamesmanship going on, like you said, to just kind of kill the momentum, or try to.
That's a good move. We won a game earlier this year where we did the same exact thing. Yeah. And their closer, it was at Ole Miss, is the game Travinsky hit the home run, is their closer had to sit down for 35 minutes. We made 3 pitching changes in the bottom of the 8th inning. So that was a good coaching move. But, Gavin Guidry's Gavin Guidry.
That's right.
You're not taking him off track.
Coach, before we get to something like that, you've had some conversations with Skip, and I want to get into that. But before we go to that, I want to talk about one more player. Talked about him a lot. I feel like he ended his career at home. Not ended his career. He's still got a long way to go. But his last home game at LSU, he comes up in a situation to basically seal the game. Obviously, you had to close it out in the bottom of the ninth. He gets an opportunity to seal it. Crowd's chanting his name. The PA announcer and the guys running the music did an unbelievable job of playing his walkout music as an in-between inning thing, because I know you're not supposed to play it. Unbelievable move by them. He gets the double. He shows more emotion than I've ever seen. It got me emotional. It gave me the chills. I can't let you get off the show today without just speaking on that moment and him and how special it is to have a superstar like him buy into the team and the tradition and the history and just be a part of everything and not be just about himself.
Yeah, the absolute standard of player and human being for the rest of time, at least as I'm a coach. It's like there's only one Dylan. And it was very interesting situation right there where it was almost like, oh, this is happening right now. Yeah. Like, I already know how this is going to go. And they had the open base thing, which gave you like 10% of thought that, hey, maybe they're just going to walk him. And it's like, this is Dylan. They can't do that right now. There's no way. The pitcher would not get out of that stadium alive right now. He threw him 4 balls. Coach Mingione, man, he would have needed serious security if he intentionally walked him again, you know?
No doubt.
But it was just one of those things like I could see it happen before it happened and going like, he's going to get one pitch in this at bat and there's no shot it's going to be a foul ball or a swing and miss. Right. And they hit a bullet, and as only he can. I mean, it's just that special Kobe Bryant, gamer. You know what's going to happen before it happens. And talk about a postseason. These 5 games he's put together has been pretty amazing.
Coach, going to Omaha, a big part in my eyes about being in Omaha is the experience of it. And when it's new and it's fresh and no one's done it, it's somewhat distracting. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of new things. Like having a huge super regional at home, you can say it's distracting, but at the same time, you're home. You're in your own bed. You're playing in your own park. Everything. There's a lot of familiar things as well, right? This is, in a way, going on the road, but it's something completely different. But having players, i.e. obviously a Riley Cooper, on the team who's been there before, who can speak to guys, who can tell them, hey, look, this is what you're going to see. This is what's going on here. Here it is here, where all of these things kind of, I guess, get moved into an easier moment for these guys to kind of, how big is that going to be for your team as you guys go there and, try to finish this thing out?
I think it's huge. And I went into it today and just had a meeting, no practice, but just a meeting at 1:00 is like the point of like, hey, you celebrated it last night. Hang out today and just relax. I want you to basically get all of that out of your system. So we show up tomorrow, we go to work. And then we just laid out, this is what the exact week is going to look like in terms of what we're doing tomorrow, when we're leaving on Wednesday, where we're going to practice on Wednesday, practicing in the stadium on Thursday. Then you get the opening ceremonies where we're practicing on Friday and what time, leading into probably playing on Saturday, like taking all the guesswork out of it. But this team has done a really good job of knowing who they need to be, where they need to be at, and when they need to be it. And so this is like the ultimate test of that. But I trust them so much in their maturity of having that off switch when, hey, man, you deserve to have a steak dinner on Wednesday night and just hang out and laugh and feel great about being there. And then when you're taking the team picture by the statue, like, that's awesome. That's fun. The few hours or couple hours we're on the field for practice, like, let's get locked in at what's made us great and preparing well. And they know that, hey, they've put in the barn the last 2 weeks to get ready to play on the weekend. And that's materialized or manifested itself into great play. And they're hyper motivated to do that. So I think we addressed it. And then, addressing the specific things that you need to do, relative to playing there to do well. We briefly talked about those things. We'll go to work on them all week and let's go. Let's do it.
Coach, you've been to Omaha before. You've made deep runs into Omaha. You've been in a national championship game. So it's not new to you to be there. And obviously all of those seasons were special in their own way out there in Arizona. But you come here to LSU to play in the best conference in the country and to compete against the best teams in the country for the best school in the country. LSU hasn't been to Omaha since 2017 when they were, a couple plays away from maybe winning their 7th national championship. You came here for this very reason. Can you speak to how special it is for you and what it's meant for you to be able to, in year 2, guide these guys and put these guys in a position to fulfill their dreams of winning a College World Series and getting to Omaha for LSU in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that question too, but I just view this differently. Somebody asked me last night if I was relieved, you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, we're going to Omaha, and I was like, not really. But then I thought about it a little bit more today, and I would actually say yes. But the reason is different than people think. Dylan Cruz had to play in Omaha.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gavin Dugas and Cade Beloso had to play in Omaha. Trey Morgan had to play in Omaha. Ty Floyd needed to pitch in Omaha. And when I came here, I'll be very frank. I mean, I definitely had the 2023 season on my mind. Everything decision we made last year, we were going for it in 2022. Don't get me wrong, and had a darn good season. But I really felt strongly we could put all of the pieces in place from a structure, a culture, buy-in standpoint. Get the personnel in the right spot, and add in obviously Paul, Tommy, Thatcher, those guys are massive, massive contributors, and put ourselves in a position where we could compete to go do something like this, host a regional, host a super regional, be ready to execute at that time, and then go to Omaha and have a chance to win. So, I mean, honestly, it's all great from my standpoint, and I'm proud to coach our team in Omaha, and I'm proud and happy for LSU. But, I mean, last night, I was just kind of driving home, windows down at 12:30 and, music going. And really all I thought about was Cade Beloso and Gavin and Hayden and those guys smiling after the game. And for me, that's as good as it gets.
Coach, part of what makes LSU and has made LSU such a desirable place to play and coach and create this tradition. You spoke about this a lot throughout the course of the year. You even acknowledged him during your press conference. Can you talk about the relationship you have with Skip and the guidance that you have gotten from him and some of the advice that maybe you've leaned on him for and how great he's made this place? Honestly, how great he's made college baseball, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I think I may have said this to you guys before. The best part of this job is the personal relationship I've got to develop with him. Because in the profession I have, you always aspire to be the best. I mean, he is the unquestioned GOAT. You know what I mean? There's no doubt about that. And I studied him as a young coach, so now talking to him 3 or 4 times a week and getting to hear or rehear some of those stories, because I have some familiarity with him, has been amazing. And just to see him sitting there last night and supporting us the way that he does, and I mean, running down on the field and congratulating the players. Well, not running,
yeah,
but walking on the field and going, "Hey, Tanks, come over here!"
And the only way Skip can do it.
And the only way he can do it, and so. And last night will be a night I remember forever, and he's a big part to do with that. And same with Coach Maneri. I mean, he couldn't have been better as far as helping me get off to a good start here, and just little things I needed to know about the program and the roster and all those types of things. Getting to spend time with the 2 guys of that level and caliber of coach here is honestly probably one of the from the personal standpoint, one of the best things about coaching here.
Coach, before I let you go, obviously y'all are leaving for Omaha, you said on Wednesday. You celebrate this win. You talk about, what it means to win this game. You give them 24 hours or 36 hours to kind of get through it, and you get back and you get going. going into Omaha, do you have you've been there before? Is there strategy? Does your strategy as a coach change the way you approach it based off the team, or do you you have this template and you're going to kind of run with that as y'all get there?
I think it's a blend. And when I say that is like, if you don't look at it that way, I feel like you're being short-sighted. And I don't ever want to be short-sighted. I want to look at how do we execute the best from all angles and then ultimately determine what we do. Now, the great part about baseball that's a little bit different is like, you're not looking at a defense and going, hey, are they running a nickel or a 4-3 or a 3-4? If they audible, what are we going to – it's not like that. So, I mean, it's about controlling the strike zone from the mound. It's about controlling the strike zone from the batter's box. It's about running the bases smart and aggressive, playing fundamental defense. Those things all are exactly the same. Now, you look at it's a bigger stadium. There's more room for hits to drop in. The grass is nice, and the infield is perfect, but it's slower. You have to manage the strike zone. You have to play defense. You have to take advantage of the extra base when it presents itself. We'll dial in all those types of things. I think in some ways it may not seem this way because we've hit a lot of home runs, but we actually have a team in a lot of facets where you could look at playing there as an advantage for us. And I'm excited about that. And we'll make those kind of maybe small tweaks, but we're gonna do our deal and roll how we roll.
Just before I let you go, I just want to have a little baseball. I want you to just give some baseball knowledge to the people listening. Last year, we've talked about Jordan a lot throughout the course of the year. Last year, he was much maligned, had a battle through some injuries, and people just kind of wrote him off. How hard? Can you just explain how hard that play he made was? Like that play he made last night, how hard that was and how easy he made it look? Because I think people are going to overlook it and say, man, it was a hard play, but he kind of made it look easy, and that's almost impossible. There's not many people that can make that play.
Yeah. So in practice, like that play will come up once in a while, just when you're hitting ground balls and stuff like that. And it happens. I just always catch myself yelling, Jeter, like Derek Jeter.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to change that right now. And whenever it happens to somebody else again, I'm going to go, Jordan.
No doubt.
He's a stud, man. And he's the man.
Yeah.
I don't think, again, partly because of Dylan and, Trey and some of these other guys, nobody talks about how great a player he is. We are not going to Omaha without Jordan Thompson as our shortstop. And, the game's hard. And if you haven't played it, you don't know it. And think about all the big hits he's gotten, at least in the last 2 years. And, the defense is – I don't want anybody else playing shortstop for us. I can tell you that.
We're second. Coach, I want to give you a chance because it just came across the wire that y'all have a send-off at 9 a.m. at Alex Box. I wanted to give you a chance to promo to some of what may be the best fans in the country. So here's your moment to do a little PSA, if you will.
Not maybe. Are the best fans in the country.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about the send-off?
Yes, the send-off at Alex Box at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. So I just wanted to give you a chance to
9 a.m. Yeah, come on out. High five these guys.
Lloyd promoted for you.
There you go.
Hey, they played hard. I think we ended up with a home record of like 33-7 or something like that. And in baseball, it's hard to do. It's super hard to do with the schedule that we played. And if you look at all the teams that we played and the postseason success that they've had and are still having, their fans, like I said at the beginning of this thing, I'll never forget these 5 postseason games. And they showed up in a big way. And pack up those RVs, man. Let's go. We're going to Omaha and all that. And heck, I don't care. Like, bring them to Alex Box, send the team off, and just let's just start driving from that point forward. And be there and hang out. And I can't wait. The 2 times that I've been, LSU hasn't been there when I've been there. And so I'd see fans from LSU even when they weren't playing it, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought they got eliminated. They're here anyway. So I'm pumped to see that stadium rocking a lot of purple in it.
I think a lot of them still maybe live there, maybe have a second house there. But you said it best just now, and I think it's crazy that people – you go through a baseball season, there's so many games, right? And to come to a school like LSU means to get an opportunity to have that 5 or 6 games at the end of a season in that stadium. And you speaking on it means volumes for people to see it coming from someone they haven't heard it from before for the first time. And then you see it and you're like, Jesus, all right, this is what you come here for.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And as a coach, I feel the same exact way.
Yeah.
And that home field advantage thing is unreal, and we want to recreate that. I keep wanting to say Ameritrade, but I know it's not Ameritrade anymore. We want to recreate that thing at Charles Schwab Field for the next.
There you go.
Yeah, I thought it was. Honestly, I didn't even know it was named anymore.
I didn't think it chatted.
Coach, good luck this week. Safe travels. Believe it or not, you're going to see our pretty faces in Omaha. We are going. I just booked my flight. I am working on, some other logistics, but we're going to be there. I'll keep a little away from you. Don't worry, but we will be there.
Yeah, I'd be super disappointed if you guys weren't going.
Yeah.
So
We'll be there. We're going to be there. Safe.
Okay, man.
Safe
You're
travels.
asking me to step up my game every week. If you're not going, you guys would have needed to seriously step up your game.
You're right.
So I'm
That's a
glad-
very good point. You hold me accountable. We're there. Coach, good luck, safe travels, and we'll see you in Omaha.